The disappearing town. I'm not a superstitious person. I never believed in ghosts, curses, or the paranormal, but something happened last summer that changed my mind. Something I still can't fully comprehend. It all began with a road trip, an attempt to escape the suffocating monotony of my desk job and find a slice of adventure. What I found was something far darker and more disturbing. My friend Jake and I had decided to take a week off and drive through the less traveled roads of the Midwest. We packed our car with supplies, grabbed an old map for a sense of nostalgia, and set off. On the third day of our trip, we came across a town that wasn't on the map. Its name was Ashton Grove. Ashton Grove seemed like a quintessential small town, with a main street lined with charming, albeit slightly dilapidated, old buildings. There was an eerie stillness to the place, a kind of quiet that seemed unnatural. But Jake and I were in high spirits, eager to explore this unexpected detour. We parked the car and walked into a diner, hoping to grab a bite and maybe chat with some locals. The bell above the door jingled as we entered, but no one greeted us. The place was empty, save for a few plates of half-eaten food left on the tables, as if the patrons had left in a hurry. There was a faint smell of coffee and something else. Jake called out, "Hello? Anybody here?" His voice echoed in the empty diner, but there was no response. We exchanged uneasy glances, but curiosity pushed us further. We decided to check out the rest of the town. The buildings were a mix of homes and businesses, all deserted, doors were left open, and personal belongings were scattered everywhere. It was as if the entire town had just disappeared. We found a grocery store with items still on the shelves, a barber shop with scissors mid-snip, and a library with books open on the tables. As the sun began to set, the eeriness of Ashton Grove deepened. Shadows grew longer, and the silence became oppressive. Jake suggested we head back to the car and leave, but I was drawn to one particular building, a large old house at the end of the street. Its windows were dark, and the paint was peeling, but something about it called to me. "Just a quick look," I told Jake. He reluctantly agreed, and we made our way to the house. The door creaked loudly as we pushed it open, revealing a grand foyer covered in dust. The air inside was stale, filled with the scent of decay. We explored the house room by room, finding more signs of sudden abandonment. An untouched dinner table, an old rotary phone off the hook, children's toys scattered across the floor. As we climbed the stairs, we heard a faint whispering sound. Jake grabbed my arm. "Do you hear that?" he asked, his voice trembling. I nodded, feeling a chill run down my spine. The whispering grew louder as we approached a door at the end of the hallway. My hand shook as I reached for the doorknob. When I opened it, we found a small room with a single chair facing the window. On the chair sat a doll, old and tattered, with lifeless eyes that seemed to watch us. Suddenly, the whispering stopped, replaced by a deafening silence. Jake and I exchanged a look of pure terror and bolted out of the house, running back to the car as fast as we could. The sun had almost set, and the town was now cloaked in darkness. We jumped into the car and sped out of Ashton Grove, hearts pounding. As we drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw something that made my blood run cold. The town was fading. The buildings, the streets, everything was slowly dissolving into the darkness. We didn't stop driving until we reached a motel miles away. We were shaken but relieved to be out of that cursed place. That night, we couldn't sleep, haunted by the images of the disappearing town and the whispering voices. The next morning, we tried to find Ashton Grove on the map and online, but there was no record of it ever existing. We even drove back to where we thought it was, but there was nothing, just an empty stretch of road surrounded by dense forest. It was as if the town had never been there. Jake and I parted ways after that trip, unable to shake the fear and confusion that experience had left us with. We tried to move on, but the memory of Ashton Grove lingered like a dark cloud. I started having nightmares about the town and the doll, dreams where I was trapped and couldn't escape. One day, months later, I received a package with no return address. Inside was a single item, the doll from the house, its lifeless eyes staring up at me. Along with it was a note, written in a shaky hand. "Come back, we need you." I threw the doll away and tried to convince myself it was a prank, but deep down, I knew the truth. Ashton Grove wasn't just a town that disappeared. It was a place that existed outside of our reality, a place that had marked me and Jake. It was calling us back. Jake went missing shortly after. His family and friends searched everywhere, but there was no trace of him. I knew where he had gone, or rather, where he had been taken. The fear that I might be next consumed me. I moved to a new city, changed my name, and cut off all contact with my old life, hoping to escape the town's grasp. But every night, I hear the whispering. Every night, I see the doll's eyes in my dreams. Ashton Grove is waiting, and I know that one day it will come for me too. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more terrifying tales. And remember, if you ever find a town that's not on the map, don't stop. Keep driving and never look back. Stay safe out there.